Hello and welcome everyone to another episode. Yes, so crazy stuff. It's time to get some crew to our ship. We really don't have very much of a crew. I think there's just one guy on board, which I kind of feel bad about. We need to get some more people on there, and with this mission we'll get another 7 Kerbals on board. And that should be pretty good. So one of the things I want to cover this episode that a few people didn't like my last episode, which I'll agree, I didn't really like it, but I might have to use it a couple times. It's my alternate launch vehicle that I kind of created. Now, the one thing I really got to mention to you guys that you really have to understand when it comes to these launch vehicles and stuff like that is I want to do all this stuff legit. And legit by launching it off of a launch pad, taking it all the way into orbit and everything else. Now, some people might say that my last launch vehicle really wasn't legit, but I'm using the modded parts. Well, not modded parts, but you know, they're mods, the parts that come along with the mods, and I guess you could call them modern parts, whatever. But there's a few people that didn't really like it, and I didn't really like it either, to be honest. And I don't plan on using that for everything, just certain stuff that I just can't get into orbit. Now, you have to understand that when I design some of these modules, like the docking bay itself took me roughly about 3.5 or so hours to build, and to just work out the bugs in it and try to make it as perfect as possible. Now, when it comes down to launching it and creating a whole separate launch vehicle just for that specific piece, and with all the Kerbal parts and just trying to do it legitimately with just Kerbal parts, it is possible, but I just didn't want to devote that much time in order to creating just a launch phase just for that one piece. And while I still tried, I will admit, I did try with the Kerbal parts, with what I used to launch. I used a whole bunch of different stuff in order just to try to get this thing to work correctly. And no matter what I did, no matter how many times I tried, I really didn't, my efforts were really not even anywhere in the ballpark. So it was just kind of a pain in the butt overall. So it really, I was kind of upset about it, and I kind of didn't like the fact that I had to use it, but there's only so far that I'm willing to go before I kind of just throw in the towel and decide to start using alternate means. So at the same time, I might end up using that again here for a few more launches, but I don't know how many launches I will actually use that for. It just really depending. I don't want to go as far as, you know, hyper editing stuff into orbit, because I think that's just plain cheap. I would rather build stuff and get it into orbit and have somewhat of a challenge without just flat out just going, okay, well, hey guys, this is in space now. So it's a really kind of weird middle ground. I really, you know, there's a lot of gray area, I guess you could say. I'll set this as a target, and yeah, so we got about 7 Kerbals. Oh, yeah, we need to fire up this engine. There we go. So we got about 7 Kerbals, and the one thing I will mention as well is I am using this structural reinforcement mod, and I think it's amazing, and I've been using it now for a little while. I have not had a ship that literally falls apart on the launch pad. I have not had a lot of the normal game bugs and problems that normally occur when we're playing. So I've taken a shot this episode at creating an MMU. For those of you who watch my subscriptions, the person who won my giveaway for Kerbal Space Program actually built an MMU, and I never actually thought of an MMU before until I actually saw his, and I thought it was absolutely amazing. Like, I created a sort of MMU, if you want to call that, when I played the or when I did the community build, the Kerbal community build, I created this sort of MMU like. It was like basically you were riding on top of a giant RCS tank, and overall it worked. But I mean, I could have really gone. I didn't really think of the MMU style construction, so I took my own shot at it, and I think I did a pretty good job. I don't know, I like it, but the way that I really wanted it to be, I could not make it that way. So the game was just kind of angry with the idea of me creating an MMU in that style. So let's see how far we have to go. I think we only have to just do a little bit of a burn here just to catch up, and that will be about it. Just bring this down. We've got a little bit of separation here. Let's see, 5.5. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm okay with this. That is pretty amazing for a takeoff, and I guess it's just because this thing is right overhead. Maybe my next launch I'll actually wait until this thing is kind of like more so over in this area. That way we don't have to worry about burning insane amounts of fuel just to dock. Now I think I'm going to leave the stage on here, at least for a little bit. And once we start fixing our orbit on the other side is when I will kind of get rid of it, because we don't really need to carry this huge tank around with us. It's really just not worth it at all. So let's see. Alright, so yeah, I'm having a little bit of problems building stuff. That's the one thing I guess I could really say right now, is I'm having a little bit of a problem building stuff for this mega ship. And it mostly has to do with the fact that the welding mod doesn't work 100% the right way, and I really wish it did, but it doesn't. And I do experience a few problems here and there, and then I also have to figure out how to develop certain parts without destroying the functionality of said part. My most recent part that will be added will be the power module, which I don't know if I just mentioned or not, but it has a power production of 12,000 power. It is basically a nuclear reactor that came along with the near future parts, and although it works really well, when they all get combined into one part, there are a lot of problems in compatibility, so I've had to kind of rework the problem and try to figure out how I'm going to fix it. And we need to start slowing down too. I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, there are a lot of problems with compatibility between parts and really construction and everything else. Most of the time you guys are waiting for me to create a new part for this is because I'm trying to figure out how to build it without basically destroying the functionality of the part that I'm trying to launch. Like the nuclear reactors, the effects of the nuclear reactor don't combine. So because of that, let's see, I am going to get rid of this kind of off in this direction here. There we go. No, most of the time it's just the overall functionality of the part really just gets destroyed, so I have to keep on reworking the problem until I can get something that actually works. So that kind of is what the main issue is, at least at this point. The docking bay itself was one of them that I really had to try to figure out how I was going to build a docking bay and all that other good stuff without destroying the parts and without part clipping and all kinds of stuff. I really wanted the docking bay to look really good, and I hope you guys liked it. So it took me a long time to figure out how to place the parts in that specific way in order for it to look that way. That's all I'm gonna say. I really do try when it comes down to functionality and the way things look and everything else, and we need to start slowing down because we're flying at our ship like at a crazy speed and we are going to crash into it, which would not be good. But it looks like we're going to come right into the docking bay almost. So the one thing I did find out as well is I don't have problems... there we go. I don't have problems with the actual, not the docking, but with the graphics or anything like that. It's not because we're so close to Kerbin. When I actually look away and then I look back, the ship itself is what's creating a lot of the lag. And that has to do with all of the lights and all of the little goodies and extras that I added onto our rocket, or onto our ship. And the lights cause a lot of lag, so that's why I have them off, at least for right now. So this should have disabled. This should disable the RCS on here. Yeah, it does. Okay, good. So I will switch over and I will turn on the lights on here just so it will look more awesome when we're coming in for docking. And then you guys can really get an idea on the scale of this docking bay, because you really just can't tell with just a Kerbal flying around in there. I really realized that the last episode when we went in there, it really, you just couldn't get a good fix on how big this thing actually is and how much you can actually, how much ship you can actually fit inside of this. So hopefully nothing bad happens. I'm really praying that nothing bad happens, because that would just suck. So where are those other parts? Oh, there they are. They're over there. I was wondering where that stage we just jettisoned went. So let's slow down a little bit since we're getting really far inside the docking bay. This is so freaking awesome. Just slow down a little bit more. Center this out. I want to connect going very, very slow. That was like almost freaking perfect. I actually can't believe how well that went. Alright, so where's our door to this base here? There we go. So I'm going to turn these lights off just for now. And you can see our frame rate just like drastically improves the minute I turn them off. So I'll take an EVA here. And let go. There we go. Come on, guy. Oh my god, stop spazzing out. There we go. So come over here. Come over here. Over there. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I did end up basically sort of attaching this MMU. What is it? Welding the MMU. There's certain parts of it that I wanted to weld, and I just thought it would work out pretty well, and it did. So let's activate the MMU. There we go. So I did put lights on all the MMUs and all that stuff. There's lights on everything, and they're pretty freaking controllable too. There really isn't much issues with control. So let's see, where can we dock this guy up? Now I did put a docking port on the back, which I can control from there, and we'll set this as a target. So let's bring this up. I think we should take a little bit of a trip through around just so I can show you guys all the functionality of this thing. We basically got a whole bunch of really, really cool stuff. I think this thing looks awesome. We have about 130 RCS fuel. The battery itself, it runs off of a battery, so there's somewhat of a limited range on this thing. Turn the light. There we go. And oh no, okay, there we go. Just turn it on. There we go. And you know, there's There's EVA propellant too? What? That is strange. I did not know that that's actually still showing. I don't know if that's still showing by default or if there's some kind of a problem with this thing. Oh god. There we go. So let's go over here and we're gonna dock up. We'll dock up to this one. And come on, go up. Now it is pretty hard to control a little bit because it basically just, oh god, we're gonna hit something. Yeah, we just hit something. The one thing I will say though is the structure of this is pretty strong, so we aren't really at risk for destroying anything just yet. There we go. I'm really having trouble controlling this thing. There we go. Now it does have like basically every single kind of control too. If we need to go up or down or any way, basically it has that control. So it's just really hard to zero out. Oh god, I did not want to connect there. Turn off the RCS. There we go. I did not want to connect on that one. Oh, that way at least. I wanted to connect on the back. That way we'll have like a little bit more room. But I'll just leave it there for now until the end of the episode. And we'll get a few more of these guys on our ship. Just let go. There we go. Come on. And we'll jump over to the front. And I'll show you guys some of the interiors of some of these places. Because I don't know if you guys have actually seen the interior of some of these bases. They look pretty awesome. These structures, I should say. There we go. Oh, god. There we go. I should have just left him like that. He would have been rolling through space forever. Okay, apparently he doesn't understand the idea of grabbing. Come on. We'll have to do this real quick. I should have put like a little handrail or something here. Don't want to get too close to this thing. It's gonna like freaking whack him off into oblivion. There we go. Oh wow, that did not even sound. Oh god. We'll do another EVA. I'll get him into some of these different modules. There we go. Whack him off into oblivion. What's wrong with me? There we go. Now to get into these, it's a little bit of a tight fit. That's the only thing I really didn't like about putting these in here, but they work, you know. It's just a really tight fit. There we go. I guess that was a little bit easier than the other module, so we'll get him out. And, yeah, come on, guy. Now, I will be leaving one of them in here, but that will be for the end of the episode, basically, or at the end of the episode, I'll basically just jettison that entire stage. I plan on taking most of the fuel out of it, that way we can refuel a little bit, get a little bit of fuel inside this space, this, station, whatever you want to call it, ship. Oh, God. Did I break something? I did hit something, but he's just spazzing out right now. They really are having problems getting into this one. What does it say right there? It says like, I think it says board. Oh god, yeah, it does say board, but every single time I try to click it, he just goes flying. Come on, guy. Maybe there's like a specific distance. Oh god. Come on, get in. There we go. And who else is left in here? Is there anyone else in here? I think there's one more guy. Yeah, we'll get him out, and we'll throw him in one of the... inside... Oh, there we go. We'll throw him inside the same one that his buddy's in right now. The inflatable module. Yeah, let go, let go. There we go. Wow, I thought I was about to hit the ship there. That would have been good. He is going pretty fast. I do use a lot of EVA fuel, too. These guys, I'm really not good at flying around in space here. The one thing I will be doing, though, is I will be kind of gearing my graphics back a little bit in order for this thing to kind of run a little bit smoother and everything else. So let's take a look at these modules that they are inside of. We'll do IVAs on some of these guys. I don't know if I can click the crew hatch, because sometimes these things are a little bit buggy and you can't click, like sometimes you just can't get a bead on where the crew hatch is. I can't even click on it right now. Go on. We'll just do an IVA. So this is inside of the rotation gravity. Wow, I can't even think of the name of it. I'm just horrible. So we're sitting here having our cups of coffee and having our snackies. That is absolutely amazing, though. I really, this mod, the Habitat mod, he really took his time to make sure this thing looked amazing. This is the, I'll show you guys right now. This is this part of the ship right here that we were just in. Right here. I can't think of the name of it. Yeah. The centrifuge. And then we'll just take a look inside of the inflatable one here. They're really not overall that exciting. It's basically just 6 chairs all right next to each other. The only thing I really have a complaint about with this one is I feel like this kind of table should be lowered and you should be able to look out the windows and stuff and you can see everything that's going on. That's really my only complaint with this thing. And yeah, so that is kind of all the stuff for right now. This thing will be added to very shortly. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be added to it. It really is in its infancy. There's probably about 5 more parts that will be added to this thing. So anyways, guys, if you like what you see here, subscribe. There's always more to come. To all you new people, welcome. And yeah, I will see you next time.